I got replaced as CEO last year in a company that I had co founded and run for 10 years. I'm going to talk about the mistakes we made leading up to that. The first problem was building in consumer social. At the time, we didn't know how capital intensive consumer social was, or even how conservative VCs are when it comes to funding consumer social applications. Consumer social apps are extremely hard to build and require deep pockets. I've made other videos about that, so I'm not trying to get into the depths of that here. But just to give you an example, Snapchat, after 1 billion users, is yet to be consistently profitable. We were tremendously successful in the short video platform that we built. We grew it to over 80 million downloads, 34 million people were using it monthly, and creators loved our platform that even today, 2.5 years after that platform has been shut down, people are still making YouTube videos about how much they miss it. And just the other day, a few days ago, someone wrote on my LinkedIn that they used to be a creator on Rizzle and they really miss it. For us, the biggest element of surprise was that at every major milestone of our growth that we thought would be super impressive for VCs, it wasn't enough to cross the threshold for an investment. When we hit 2 million users, when we hit 10 million users, eventually 20 million users, none of that was enough for attracting one of the top VCs with a larger check size. At the same time, we were growing aggressively, and creators, while they loved the platform, had their own frustrations. They couldn't find every favorite song they wanted on the platform. We had less than 20% of the popular music licensed on the platform, which means that we still had to go license the remaining 80% of the music to keep everyone happy. And music companies like UMG wanted millions of dollars from us, which we couldn't afford at the time. Consumer social prioritizes growth over revenue by definition. These platforms realize revenue much, much later in their life cycle. For example, TikTok waited until they had about 35 million daily users before they turned on ads. Snapchat waited until they had 80 million daily users. So monetization is much more delayed, and hence the amount of investment needed upfront is huge. Moral of the story: I will not build a consumer social app again. It is too risky, requires too much investment upfront before you can realize revenue. Now, oddly enough, I do miss having the platform. Today, especially, I think about it a lot because it would be a fantastic alternative to TikTok if we still had the platform running. And that makes me sad that we couldn't realize that vision. But nevertheless, I will not be the one building consumer social again. It's just too risky.